Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. This is Jonathan Garcia. In today's video, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a step-by-step kind of warm-up guide slash meet guide, showing you guys pretty much my method of preparing for the competitions or preparing for a heavy single. We're going to be going in through just the basics and some tips along the way on what I think is the best way to approach getting your body, getting your mind ready to hit those heavy singles. So if you're interested in how to squat big, stay tuned. All right. I figured I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the mic for a little bit of in the moment commentary. So a big thing for me whenever you're starting to warm up is you want to, at the competition or at the meet, or at max day, let's go ahead and just call it max day, you want to make sure that all the things you can control, you are controlling. You know, you can't control how fast the meet's going and what time the meet actually starts. Oftentimes the meet may start at 2 o'clock, but by the time they do equipment check and or the broadcast isn't working or the stream isn't working or something's going on, you may not start till later. So it's a good idea to go ahead and fall into a rhythm of warm-ups and find what warm-ups work best for you, and you want to replicate that on meet day, so that way you're controlling the variables that you can, and everything else you just deal with it as it comes along. But you know your body, you know what weights you need to be hitting, and if you don't know, then you need to be warming up the same every single time, and you write those down so at meet day you don't forget, you don't get antsy because your emotions are going to kind of be all over the place. You want to make sure you hit those same warm-ups. That way your body and your mind start warming up together, and okay, everything's like, okay, so this is just kind of like being at home, and that's what I like to think of. So set up exactly the same. You want that every time. Same walkout, same setup every single time. Don't change anything. Now, if you guys aren't doing this, you need to be doing this. Whenever you're squatting, benching, or deadlifting, you want to make sure that you're doing it per competition guidelines. And what I mean by that is, for the squat, you've got a few commands to follow. So if you've never done a powerlifting meet, I'll run through them real quick. So bars loaded, they call you up. You have about 30 seconds between by the time they call your name to the time that you actually have to do the lift. So in those 30 seconds, you can do whatever the fuck you want, as long as the bar is starting to move before the countdown finishes. And so basically what that means is, okay, you come here and you'll see a lot of lifters have a lot of ritualistic movements, and they'll do the Macarena before they lift. You're allowed to do that as long as within that 30 seconds, before that 30 seconds elapses, you're actually lifting the fucking weight. So that's very important to remember. And I like to do, again, same thing every single time. And a lot of guys will do that because obviously they're nervous, jitters, and having that kind of ritual, as silly as it may seem to outsiders, or as redundant as it may seem, it puts the lifter in a state of like normalcy in their mind. So we're like, okay, this is how it feels like at home, or it looks like at home, and these are the movements I do to make them feel more comfortable hitting that bigger weight. So as we warm up, you're gonna see a lot of the same. Nothing should change between one red and, all right guys, we're moving on to 2 reds. Now this is typically when I start to put my equipment on. The reason I really don't with the 1 red, it's light enough for me to just kind of feel the bar, see what I'm feeling that day, see what I'm feeling like that day, if there's any kind of hidden aches and pains that are kind of just turning their ugly head. And I like to go ahead and start putting all my gear on. The reason I do that, again, is that familiarity. You're gonna be maxing with the heavy gear on, whether you use straps, belt, whatever, wraps. I already have my knee sleeves on under my pants. Go ahead and get your belt the way you like it. I like mine tight, but not too tight where I can't breathe, because I feel like that kind of inhibits my ability to really squat as low as I need to squat. Again, finding your markers, finding your comfort zone, what you feel measurement-wise, everything's even. It's very important to find your center line at the bar. Okay, now this is something that obviously you're gonna learn in training, but again, doing everything in a repetitive manner to feel more comfortable. I like to find the center of the bar, measure my arms, measure my hands out, boom, that feels good. Approach the bar, boom, right here. Now, why I like doing, like jumping up to reds, you may not have the ability to do that. So you wanna make sure that, again, if your max, let's just talk in pounds, is 400 pounds, you don't wanna go 155, 225, 315. I think the jumps might be a little bit too much for you. So you wanna make sure that you're saving everything for the big lift, but also not exhausting yourself with attempts beforehand. So what I typically will do is triples, doubles, singles. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So with the one red, we did actually did 2 sets of 3. I didn't film the first one, just kind of wake up. It's a little bit later in the day. I mean, I've been lazy today. Today's my off day. I've got 2 reds now. So I hit just 2 there. So we're gonna throw on another pair of reds, and then we're just gonna start doing singles all the way up. And I'll show you guys which weights I use to go ahead and get warmed up. Because again, we're gonna go for 275 kilo, which is more than my world record I set in Africa. But not, it's less than the max I've ever done, like the highest I've ever done, but still more than what we did in Africa. Eating the same exact thing, but remember, the repetition breeds perfection, or something like that. So, you wanna make sure everything looks the same. Ideally, on meet day, you'll have a coach kind of watching you. If you don't train with your coach often, you guys gotta make sure that you have good communication. That felt good, that felt like shit. And a good coach will tell you, hey, that looked heavy, that looked light, but it's gonna have to tell you in a way that's not gonna fuck with your mind, because you're gonna be second guessing yourself a lot on meet day, especially if you're, not a seasoned lifter. You wanna make sure that you feel as comfortable as you can, and I think a good coach is gonna be there to be the one to kind of guide you to those emotions and make sure your head's straight throughout. So let's go ahead and knock on. It's always deceptive because I feel like the warm-ups, for some reason, at every meet I've ever done my entire life, felt heavier than the actual lifts on the platform, but it's all jitters. Remember to take your time, set up the way you like to set up, wait for the command. Don't rush the setup, okay? Especially if you don't train with a bunch of people. You gotta remember, a lot of times you'll have a guy 6 inches behind you, a spotter, guys on the side, they're, grabbing the weight. You can feel, claustrophobic is not the right word, but you kind of feel like surrounded, because you are, obviously for safety, but don't rush the setup. Don't let your anxiety, your anxiousness get you out of the groove. You want to be in your groove. It's your meet, your weight, your time. You waited for the other lifters to come on, do their thing. Now they wait for you to go do your thing. Don't rush it. That was 3 reds. We're gonna go ahead and do, since we're going super heavy, I'm gonna squeeze in one more little warm-up rep. Normally I would go right to my working weight with this, but we're gonna go all the way up to over 600 pounds. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw a green on here, a green and a black. And then we can do one green and black single, and then we'll go ahead and throw in 4 reds. Then we'll get a little bit more aggressive with the jumps to go ahead and hit our target weight successfully. All right guys, so while we're sitting here, I did also want to mention something that's very important and a huge variable on meet day. So if you're training alone, or even if you're training with a group of people, you want to make sure you're setting a timer for yourself, because it's going to be a big variable at the competition. I've been to some meets and it's been like I could take a nap in between attempts. Like, it was literally that much time. I felt like I got really cold, and I never liked those meets right there, because I do train alone. So I always felt like, you know, I'm not waiting on myself when I'm training alone. So let's go ahead and just do the weight. You know, I have other things to do. While working out is extremely important, it's a highlight of my day, but I got other stuff I gotta do. I gotta go to work, I gotta kids, cook dinner, whatever the case may be, walk the dog, all these things that I've got to get this workout done and going. Where in some other competitions, I've had it fly by. You know, especially here recently, like with nationals, with Powerlifting America, there's only been a few guys in my weight class, and they will lump you guys up. Typically, they'll do the 66s with the 72s, and that way there's a little bit more of a roster situation going on, you know, where you have a little bit more guys in between. But still, sometimes that can only be 5 minutes. So you want to make sure, guys, that you aren't walking around aimlessly, getting cold, getting water, talking to a girl at the gym, texting on your phone. When it comes to meet day and building up to a heavy single or max, like we're getting close to today, you definitely want to be on time. You want to find, everybody's a little bit different. Some people like more time. Some people have, you know, all the time in the world to train. They train with people and they got to wait till they change the weights. And a lot of the times you'll see those guys crumble at a competition that has a very short roster, because they're not used to that fly by. So again, that's a variable that you can't control, but what you can control is staying focused and staying on your shit. Check out this little single here. We're still kind of, again, in that super warm up weight. Just gonna hit a single. One thing too, guys, for your beginners out there, you want to walk on to the platform with your wrist wraps tightened and your belt tightened, okay? Ran into that a couple times. Again, I'm so used to training alone, and there could be so many months in between meets that I walked up to the platform, wrist wraps and everything like that, and they actually got called backstage to re-wrap and then come out ready. So when they call your name, tell you the bar's loaded, it is go time. That 30 seconds is starting. So you guys want to be ready to hit, ready to rock and roll as soon as you hit the platform. All right, so I like to go ahead and hit just one more heavy single here. Make it snappy, make it fast. Boom. Now we're ready for the bigger weight. Now I had some music playing on the background here, so obviously for copyright reasons, I'm just gonna dub over this. This is me getting hyped right here. It's always an exciting moment when I can load up 600 on the bar. That's just because it's something kind of unheard of from our weight class, and I get so pumped. And this is technically heavier than my world record. Well, not technically, it is 100% heavier than the current world record, but not the most I've ever done here in the garage. So my body weight right now is about 152. Bam, nice and controlled. Very, very smooth, very happy with that single. All right, guys, so there you go. That is my meet prep or meet warm-up routine, some tips. Hopefully you guys pick something useful up. I tell you guys, I've had a ton of experience, and one thing that's always ring true is you can learn something from anybody. And I'm telling you guys, I've learned these things by trial and error. I've had some really bad meets, I've had some great ones, and I've had some decent ones in there in between. And I'm telling you all these tips from experience, guys. It may not be 100% like what everybody thinks or what everybody agrees upon, Again, these videos I do just to share what I think and my knowledge, expertise, or whatever the case may be. Because when I started powerlifting, I didn't know absolutely anything. I didn't know how to low bar. I didn't know really much anything. I kind of just got thrown in, and I learned by trial and error. Sometimes really messing up and sometimes getting lucky. But either way, guys, I hope you really enjoyed the video. If you pick something up on this, feel free to share this. Again, I don't do these videos for anything but for fun, and I think that the part about having experience is sharing that experience to other people. So whether you're a beginner or an elite powerlifter, I think that anybody and everybody can pick something up from this video that might be helpful to them. Maybe, maybe just a refresher. We forget things a few times. And if you're getting ready for your first meet, let me know down in the comments below what federation, what weight class, and if you guys have any questions on how to prepare, whether it be for a single in the gym, or not sure what your max is, or not sure what your warm-up weight should be to your max, and you don't have a coach, and you don't want us like message all your information or your business here on YouTube, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. I mean, I try to reply to everybody, so I'm always here for help. I'm never gonna charge for any advice or any help. That's not what I'm here for. I want to help everybody be a better lifter. The more lifters are out there that are awesome, the more that powerlifting gets exposure. And my battery's about to die on my cell phone. But either way, you guys are the reason why I do these videos. If you need anything, reach out. More than happy to help. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one.